The awakening of the soul in Tantra. In the tradition of Tantra Yoga, as in most branches of yoga, there are three kinds of I. The ego I, the soul I, and the spirit I. Ahamkara as the ego, Jiva, the living spirit, as the soul, and Atma as the spirit. Essentially, the ego is based on the belief that this body, this mind, me, is the center of the world. And therefore I deserve more than others, and therefore I should arrange the world around my body and mind. The ego has this vision of securing the import line so that I have all my needs, secure from all my fear, can fulfill all my desires, and that's the ideal that the ego is going towards. Securing money, friends, entertainment, food, health, this body and mind. And there are egos and egos. Some are very harsh and violent, some are more mild, more conscious, but it's at the ego level, and it has this as the central thought. I am the center of the world, which of course it's not true. It's not one body and mind is not the center, but it looks like that also because we perceive the world from here. Now, the soul is real. It stands alone in truth. The ego needs mental agitation to create this false sense of I. You noticed when you eat something, you stop chewing. When you think of something, you stop thinking about that thing, you don't stop thinking. You continue and think and think and think, and that continuous flow of thought creates the ego. The ego is mind-based. It's a product of a constant mental agitation. When the mental agitation stops, the state of trance, the ego state of trance stops, and the soul appears. You don't need to invent a soul. You don't need to believe in a soul. You need to silence the mind as one way, or to have a very intense state of love and devotion, something to crack that shell of the ego, and then the soul stands alone. It's all the time there, but it is somehow covered. It's like you have a phone and it is with cement around it and you cannot access it. To give an example from one of my teachers. But through spiritual practice, devotion, meditation, yoga, silencing the mind, in Tantra also through the couple relationship, through a very pure form of love, also friendship, through the connection with nature, through art. Some people feel it when they fall in love, or most people feel the soul when they fall in love. We gain access to the soul. And then the soul doesn't have this algorithm of the body and mind as the center of the universe. The soul has an intuition of something greater. Sometimes that something greater feels that it's personal and with form, like God, Christ, Krishna. And sometimes there's an intuition of something formless, like a formless, intelligent wisdom, consciousness, as in some Buddhist and Advaita Vedanta, or a formless divinity. And the soul is naturally attracted to that. The soul is always in love with that. And the soul is real and doesn't feel that this body-mind is the center. The ego is based on selfishness, on desire, fear. The soul is fundamentally based in love. Now the ego can cultivate some kind of conduct that will make it integrate harmoniously, socially better. And this is a lot of our education system, is to turn very wild, very conflictual egos into egos that can get along better with each other. So in the ego level, you can make an effort to be good, and it somehow pays off to be good, Yeah, in our society, you have your reward for being good and your punishment for being bad. And as such, the egos turn into something more harmonious. The soul is good. You don't need to make any effort from the soul to be good. You can't help it. You don't need to force yourself to care. You care. And our life, to a degree, you know, if people are not completely opaque to their heart, they have a degree of soulfulness. You see somebody in pain, you feel compassion. You will get nothing out of helping them. But you feel to, and you do. That's your soul, my dear. And once the soul awakens more and more through spiritual practice, this heaviness of life, the meaningless emptiness of life, because it's an empty life to live for one body and mind as if it's the center of the world, which we know. Come on, we know it's not. But from the soul, our life purpose is revealed, our dharma, what life wants from us. And we feel a tremendous joy of doing it. There isn't a bee who is as happy as we are when we realize our role is to make honey. And we just do what we're supposed to do. Also, the purpose of life is our big purpose. And also our purpose moment to moment. The soul not having a false center, so transcending at least partially, and sometimes fully, the ego, will know in any life situation, a family meal, a moment in the post office, an interaction with colleagues at work, the soul is naturally loving, selfless, wise, courageous. All virtues that can be cultivated partially with the ego are there, already ready-made. The soul has virtue in it, poof. And once energizing it, all these virtues come to be. And we just know moment to moment. We have a knowledge of love and an intuition of love. What to do. And there is a tremendous, tremendous joy in that. There's a cracking, you see, while doing a lot of spiritual practice, the heart cracks. Once the soul awakens, there is this sweet sorrow, sweet repenting, sweet tears of why I lived my life from a different place. Why did I live so selfish until now? Now I see and I feel. And of course I want to live from love. And that cracking gives so much meaning to life, so much happiness, so much vitality, enthusiasm, efficiency. Somehow life begins with the soul and is governed. A life that is governed by the soul is purposeful, is happy. The fear of death is gradually diminished. And normally, in the beginning, there is this oscillation. We have moments of great soulfulness, and then we go back to the ego shell, back to soulfulness, and back to certain intermediary states which have some soulfulness, some selfishness. But if we persevere with the spiritual practice, we persevere in loving the people around us and forgiving, in following all manner of virtue, the soul will become stable, and we will be able to have a real positive impact on the world. You see, the idea of this presentation is to remind you something that you know, to remind you something that you experience, and that you can re-experience it with a bit more attention. And if you can recall moments where you felt that soulful, maybe you were falling in love, maybe you were helping someone, maybe helping a stranger, maybe by viewing human suffering, maybe by viewing art or creating art, you felt it inside, then please share in the comments and we can have a dialogue in this way. If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.